Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to our optional little workshop today. It's awesome to see that almost 100 people are interested in learning about how they can get involved with pre-med and research activities, either in high school or undergrad, or even as a non-traditional pre-med or pre-science student. So the way that today's optional workshop is going to go is we're going to have Jonathan, who's our Chief Educational Officer here, share a little bit about his experience. And he was accepted to BSMD programs in the United States. So that's very helpful for those of you that are interested in those programs. And we'll open it up for questions for Jonathan as well. So Jonathan will share a little bit about, the high school and undergraduate activities that he was involved in that helped him get accepted into BSMD programs. And then he'll answer some questions. And then I'll take us through a little workshop about what you can do to get involved with research as an undergraduate student and as a high school student. And I'll also be sharing some templates to format your CV properly and sharing tips about how to properly reach out to supervisors, researchers, and doctors to um, just have the best response rate from them. So I'll be sharing about all the tips and tricks I've learned over the past, 3 or 4 years of reaching out to professors, and some advice that I've gotten from professors as well when they look at your application and decide whether or not they actually want to move forward with you. So I'll hand it over to Jonathan and feel free to get started.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Let's see. How do I share this? I feel like even though I'm like 19, I have no technical capabilities. I have no. How do I open the? If I do that, does that? No, that does not look good, does it? Okay. Davina, could you share it?
Yes, I can share it for you.
All
Give me one
right.
second.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I study chemistry, not computer science.
How's that?
Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, guys. Hi, my name is Jonathan Mikanovsky. I'm the Chief Educational Officer here at MedStem Powered. Um, I see MDC, yes. So I'm gonna just walk you through a little bit of like how I got into college, how I got into BSMD and BSDO programs, kind of just like walk you through what I did and answer any questions that you want. So during high school, I got my associates in chemistry at MDC. So I repped Miami. I went to the School for Advanced Studies, which was the number one high school in Florida. And then after completing high school, I got involved with the American College of Cardiology as a young scholar, which just gave me some experience and insight into the world of cardiologists. Um, Same cycle, same time, I also attended the Harvard Retinal Imaging Lab Underrepresented Medicine mentorship program. So I got to learn about ophthalmologists through Harvard Medical School, as well as FIU Doctors of Tomorrow program, which similar thing. Got to experience what it's like to be a doctor through the Office of Admissions of Florida International University. So that's just some of my extracurriculars and just how I ended up here. Right now, I'm studying full time at Brandeis. I got a full ride. I'm pursuing a bachelor's of arts in chemical biology with a minor in history of ideas. Um, I am in a frat A Pi as Sentinel, and I am also vice president of the chemistry club. I also work in a lab as a researcher in the Pendelia lab, which is looking at hepatitis E and a cure for it. So I'm here to answer any questions. I know I didn't add anything particularly about high school experiences, but I can talk about that as well. So I'm open to answer any questions you have about college applications as well as BSMD programs. Like hit me. I'm here for anything.
Yeah, maybe first you can talk about um, how you got into those specific experiences. So, like, what do you do if you want to apply to like an underrepresented medicine mentorship program at Harvard?
Yeah.
And what activities you think really helped you get into the BSMD programs?
Okay. Yeah. I just want to clarify. I'm not at the BSMD programs. I decided it was honestly best to take a full 4 years, and I got a full ride rather than paying a lot of money out of pocket to attend a BSMD program. So I decided not to go that route, and honestly, it's fine whichever route or whatever you choose. But yeah, so I didn't decide to do that. But as far as like applications for these types of programs and what they want to see, it's pretty standard. One of the things that actually stopped me from applying to a lot more programs was SAT or ACT, like a really high score. I didn't have a really high score, but the fact that I got an associate's during high school, I had research and a whole bunch of other extracurriculars, especially like I did a lot of advocacy, so like bills related. I got a bill passed through the Florida legislature, so that definitely helped. But I think it honestly depends. But one thing I will say, like, uh, you know, it's honestly about having the right score, so getting your foot in the door, sort of thing, and then from there, it's really your personality and who you are that carries through. So yeah, holy okay, I see a lot of questions. I'm gonna go with the hands raised first, and then I'm gonna go in the chat. So I saw Malak first. Hello, Malak.
Okay, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. My name is Malak. Please tell us what activities we can do it to go to Harvard or Stanford University, and I am high school student.
Oh, so this program was specifically for college students. But there are a bunch of programs specifically for like high schoolers. Not necessarily pre-med, but there are a lot of like Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, all those schools have programs. I would just search up Harvard pre-college programs. Um, Depending on your financial situation, it might be hard to attend. Um, so it really just depends, to be honest. But there are pre-college programs. They're not the most impossible to get into. The only thing is they do cost a lot of money. So and sometimes they don't really help with your application, but some of these types of programs that aren't necessarily pre-college, but or like for instance, the one I did was honestly just a simple application. It was a professor at Brandeis just came into a class and was like, "Hey, I have a colleague who's running this program. You should apply." And that was that. That's honestly some of the cases with colleges is like living in the area and whatnot. You just get these random applications or whatever thrown at you. So it depends, but um, if you're looking for pre-college, there are a ton. It's just a matter of do you want to pay for them? But that's really up to you. They also offer like Coursera, so if you want to take some courses online and stuff like that, there are a ton of programs. It's just a matter of cost. This one was free and it was only open to college students, but again, if you do your Google searching, if you do your searches right and ask the right people, I'm sure you can find something. And they might also offer financial aid for these types of programs. Yeah, I think I may have missed it, but which specific BSMD did you get into? So I got waitlisted from Rochester, so I was a finalist, like one of 50, and then I got into the BSDO at Nova Southeastern University in Florida. Did you do any specific classes slash extracurriculars in high school to prepare you for college career? That's a good question. My case was different. I felt like actually my college situation, even though I took like a ton of college classes, didn't set me up for college correctly. Um, I feel like the difference between high school and college is you have a very like flexible schedule, so you can really do whatever you want. And I never really learned how to like navigate my calendar, and that's something that's extremely important. I'm sure Davina can also talk about that, but you don't really get that during high school. Everything's already like kind of laid out for you, so that took a lot of time to prepare for. And honestly, I would say like knowing how to manage your schedule is the most important thing that you can do. Yeah, so that's how I would say I prepared. Um, I don't think my classes or the extracurriculars necessarily prepared me, but they gave me a good guide as to what I wanted to do in my career. So honestly, the best way to prepare for your college career is make a Google Calendar. As funny as it sounds, it will save your life. I promise you. Google Calendars are like my best friend. Um, all right, I'm gonna do one more from the chat, and then I'm gonna start doing the hands that are raised. Besides university-based opportunities for financial, what other programs did you apply for? And what was your journey on getting a full ride? So besides university-based opportunities for financial, so I'm a HSF scholar, Hispanic Scholarship Fund scholar. Um, Depends year on year. I might get some money from that. I also was like, find honestly another piece of advice, find like very small scholarships, like $1,000 here, $1,000 there. Like if they're very obscure, the chances that a lot of people are applying for them are very small. So you might land on like a $1 or $2,000 scholarship, but they add up fast. And what was your journey on getting a full ride? Um, so in my case, it was a combination of merit and financial aid. So I come from a low income family, so that definitely helped, but it really depends on your situation. If you're thinking about going to school, like let's say a private school, uh, technically my school costs $96,000 a year. I do not pay that. I could never afford that, but that's the ticket price, let's say. I wouldn't get scared of a school's ticket price. It was actually more expensive to go in state than out of state. So honestly, your best bet is really doing your research and finding out about different like offices and their financial aid policies, and that should really help you with like looking at where I can go and what's feasible. But at the end of the day, not only was it a lot of like bargaining with the financial aid offices, like there is a lot of appeals and forms you have to fill out. But it's just making sure you choose the right school and a school that wants you back as well. So I'm gonna go with hands raised. First one I see is Mara.
I was wondering when you started like working towards your associate's degree in high school. Like what grade were you in?
Oh yeah. So my school was like during junior year, so it was like junior and senior year. I just like I transferred to a different high school, which was like specifically a 2-year program. But typically your associates takes 2 years to get. But that was like um my associates also took into account like some AP credits. So I mean, what year are you in right now?
I'm a rising junior.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would look into taking some dual enrollment. There's no pressure. Like, I mean, I got my associates, but there's no pressure into uh you know there's like there's no pressure into getting in associates. I just got it because that's what my school did. Um, but getting some college courses under your belt is also completely fine. I think dual enrollment is way more, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's way better than APs because APs run a year long and are honestly harder for no reason. So just do a dual enrollment. Also, it's free. Like if you go to a community college, it's usually free for high schoolers. So dual enrollment is definitely the way to go. Yeah. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Awesome. Next question is from Alphomia. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Hi. You said it correct. But my question was like, when you got your SOTIS degree in high school, like how hard was it to balance doing that and also like taking your regular high school classes?
Oh, it was horrible. It was hor it was horrible. I hated it. Yeah, high school was horrible for me. Was it completely worth it? I don't know, honestly. But yeah, it was a balance of like what am I going to lose today? What am I sacrificing today? You know, there were days like for instance Mondays was really bad. So I lived like 30-40 minutes away from my well, lived for 30-40 minutes away from my school, so I'd have to wake up at 6 a.m., go to my school at like around 6:30, get to school 7. 7 to 2 was like a normal day of like high school plus college classes. Then I'd go back home for like an hour or two and then go back for labs. So I was back home by like 8 p.m. some days. It was really bad. It was not enjoyable. But there's a lot of sacrifice. That's what people don't tell you. There's a lot of struggle. There really is. Like, don't don't put yourself in a situation where you're like honestly sacrificing your personal health or your mental health for college admissions. Because to be honest with you, if I didn't get my associates, I'd probably be in the same spot that I am, but maybe with less money. Who knows? But the case is, don't honestly don't burden yourself too much. All right, I'm gonna take one more like hand raised, and then I'm gonna do chat a little bit. So Marley.
So, hi,
I want to ask you questions. Many of my friends told me studying abroad in the U.S., uh, especially in the field of medicine, is a bit hard because the U.S. did not accept international students with a full scholarship
Mm,
in the field of medicine because it requires many years, especially for the medical school, you know.
hmm
So is that correct or no?
I, it depends on the school. Honestly, the best answer I can give you is depends. Some schools are very good with international students, even with undergrad. Honestly, undergrad is way easier to get into as an international student than medical school, but it is possible. It's not impossible. It's definitely possible. It's not easy though. But also getting into medical school is not easy. So, the whole thing is not easy. But yeah, it's possible, 100%. It just takes a lot more extra work, and it's very unfortunate, but that's the case.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna take a few from the chat now. Um, okay. So, also, how did you get a full ride slash receive scholarships? Again, uh, combination of merit and financial need. Each school depends. A lot of Ivies have nowadays like promises. So if your family makes under $100,000, you can get a full ride. Again, depends, but mine was a combination of financial need and merit. So, I got a little bit of both there. Yeah, how'd you get a full ride? Same thing. Um, just saying now there's no one way 100% to get into an Ivy slash yeah reach. It's honestly very random. One way that a counselor told me that honestly still like strikes me today. He told me like, the one time he had a friend or something who was a financial aid officer and he decided to reject the student just because he was hungry and it was lunch and he was grumpy. Like seriously, like that happens. Like it's so random. Like one year you might actually get in, the next year you won't. It's like playing the lottery. It's very random. It's very random. It really is. There is no 100% guarantee to get into a school. Um, yeah, no, completely right. Did I do any shadowing? Yeah. So I did around 200 hours of shadowing. To be honest, it's not something I put down as an activity, but it helped me with my BSMD applications because I was able to talk about the experiences I had with patients, and that's honestly more memorable. Um, so, living in Miami, you meet the weirdest people in the world. And so I got like a bunch of stories. Like one time a mermaid, like no joke, a mermaid who had her own Netflix show came in to our office. So like that, like that's something that I put on my, you know, um, supplements. Like there's a lot of crazy stories that you hear. And they definitely help you. It definitely helps you stand out. So definitely shadow. Also write down how you feel during shadowing, that sort of thing. It really does help get your name across. Because it's more memorable. Like you want your application to be fun. You want people to know who you are and remember you. Um, uh, isn't need to take a scholarship in Harvard, a certificate in competition or programs can you? Um, like, uh, so are you asking? Wait, hold on. It is need to take a scholarship in Harvard, a certificate in competition or programs. I mean, you don't need to, but it's not, I didn't get a scholarship. It was just a free program. So like sometimes they offer free programs, sometimes you have to pay for them. It just depends on the program and what you're trying to do. How was I able to get my associates during high school? Again, it was just it was honestly a combination of dual enrollment and my school. So they helped me like go through the whole process of getting an associates. I would like if you have the possibility of talking to your high school counselor, they might be able to help you. If not, you can reach out to me and I can help as well. All right, I'm going back to people with their hands raised. Casey?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in a similar situation as you. I'm a current college student and I got my associate in arts through enrollment through high school.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you did like the retinal imaging lab.
Mhm.
How do you get started in research like as a college student?
Yeah. Mass email, like just cold email as many people as possible. Like I, I didn't even know what I was gonna do this summer. I
Yeah.
just started cold emailing professors and it just sticked. Like I'm so serious. Like there's some people that told me like don't email too many labs at the same time. I was like I did that for a while. Like I would only email like one or two like every 2 weeks or something like that. But then it got to a point where I was not getting a response from anything. So I was like, you know what? I was like one day I was like I'm sick of this and I'm like mass emailed like 20 professors and only one responded. It really is that crazy. Like
So
mind
it's
you,
like
I go
trial
to
and
an
error.
R1 school too. Like I go to a school
Yeah.
that's it's so it's ridiculous. It really is. But yeah, just mass email, just like cold email as many people as possible. Um, Obviously in your field, like don't email someone in philosophy if you're trying to do like chemistry research. But if you have professors that you've taken that can like get you in the door, that's good too. Like that does help. Even emailing like wait, what classes have you taken, or like are you going to a different school? Like what's the situation?
So like I've taken main science classes like biology, chemistry. I'm a neuroscience major, so
Gotcha.
maybe
Yeah.
some like psych research or something could be helpful.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. And I'm guessing you're transferring this year.
No, I'm like staying at my college that I'm attending, but like
Okay. Okay.
just trying to
Yeah.
get more
Yeah.
research. Yeah.
Yeah. I would talk to your professors that you've taken. Um, I got research at a like at MDC, so like the community college, just by talking to a professor and be like, hey, can I join your lab? Um, it's way easier in community colleges in my experience. Just honestly talk to the professors you've taken before, like ones that you really like, and see if they have any labs that they know of or something that you'd be interested in.
Right. The good thing is like my credits transferred. So yeah, I
Nice.
did transfer, but yeah, I
Okay.
guess I'll just cold email, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just search up the faculty list for like whatever. So for neuroscience, for instance, or psychology,
Mhm.
and just email.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
yeah. Loretta.
Hi. So it's so nice talking to you because I peeped your LinkedIn and we were kind of in the same area near the Hollywood region. Yeah. My question I added you by the way. My question is so I have two questions if you don't mind. The
Yeah,
first
yeah,
one
sure.
is what kind of lessons did you take away from your mentorship that
Uh,
you attended at Harvard? And then the
uh,
second question is when you cold emailed for research, usually
yeah.
what was the duration of time that you did research for?
Okay. So for the first one, what did I take away? Um, it was specifically about ophthalmology. Um,
Okay.
and kind of what they covered was different fields within ophthalmology, and that what I got away was basically like I would want to do a specialty within it, and I don't want to do a PhD. A lot of the people that do it like PhD MDs, I don't want to do that. I just want to do MD. Like I just want to work with people. So that was like one of the things that I got away. But it's also like it really depends on person to person. But they were like talking about their like research and what they're doing for like eyes, and it's cool stuff. But I was like, I'd rather just like talk to patients and stuff. I don't want to be in the lab 24/7. So that's kind of what I got out of it. Also, like a PhD, like MD PhD lifestyle is horrible. It's like it's so bad. It's like you go from the clinic to the lab and then the lab to it's like and nonstop work and completely different too because like one is very social and the other one's completely isolated. So yeah, I just don't want to do a PhD is what I realized. But on the other hand, your other question, um, I mean, I cold emailed. So when I did the MDC one, I just went to my professor that I took chem lab with, and I was like, "Can I just join your lab?" And I did that for a summer, but then I graduated, so that was that. And now I'm in a lab because I cold emailed here at Brandeis. And I've been in this lab ever since. So I plan on doing it for all 4 years of college.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Best advice: don't hop research like labs. Don't hop labs. Like that's not. People think it's good because it looks like you've done a lot. It's no, just stick with one, know what you're doing, and stick with it. Like don't try to hop labs.
Gotcha. Definitely consistency is one of the things they look for with like med school apps and things that I've noticed. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
For sure.
Okay,
All right.
I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen now so I can manage the chat because I think there's some questions there. Is that okay with you, Jonathan?
Yeah, yeah, it's totally fine.
Awesome.
All right. Sahasra.
Hi, so I am a high school student in Florida, and I was wondering,
Hey.
so how'd you pass the bill that you were talking about, and what was the bill that you passed?
Okay, so I didn't pass the bill. It's not like I went and
Well, yeah.
yeah, but it was more like we did a lot of advocacy for it. It was House Bill. Let me see. Oh my God, it was like 3 years ago. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God, I forgot the House Bill name. It was like House Bill 6932, something like that. I don't. It was basically I don't know if you knew this. Like back in Florida, like a few years ago, there was a lot of like littering. But it was like a lot of racial, like it was like racial things written, like horrible things written on paper, and it was like people littering it. And because it was just like throwing a piece of paper, it wasn't considered a hate crime. So basically, what my group did was we went to Tallahassee and advocated for like, like hate crime littering. So like grabbing a piece of paper, writing something horrible on it, and like throwing it on someone's porch or something like that is considered a hate crime. Back then, it was just considered a misdemeanor as a littering.
Okay, so when you say advocacy, did you like post articles or?
No, we went to Tallahassee and like physically talked to representatives and senators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did it through a program. So you can I mean where in Florida are you?
I am in Tampa.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sure you can definitely search it up. I'm sure there's like teen advocacy programs, especially in Tampa of all places. Because I mean my group wasn't the only one. There's a ton that go every year to Tallahassee and advocate. So you can definitely search that up if that's something you're interested in.
Uh,
Yeah.
Also, how do you find scholarships? Because I've been seeing a lot of like no essay scholarships, and I'm not sure if they're like actually like real.
I mean they're real. It's just like getting them is like playing the lotto, honestly. It's
Mhm.
not you just like it's not because they don't know anything about you and whatever. It's honestly just like those I would avoid. Just go for like I very niche stuff. Just search up like scholarships for students in Tampa, scholarships for whatever. Like there's scholarships for lefties. Like there's very like niche things. Like search up niche stuff, then you'll find it. Like I'm sure there's scholarships specifically for students in Tampa or through whatever school you're applying to. So like let's say you're applying to like UTamp or like USF, there'll be scholarships specifically for students that live in the area. And it's like a separate application, but it's like also through the institution. So you just do your research, but you'll find. It's hard. It was really annoying for me as well. I get your pain, but there's very like they're very niche, but you'll find them if you just like search like very specific stuff.
Okay. Is there like a certain app or website I should look at?
I don't remember which one I used. Um, let me see, because I keep getting spam emails from the same one every month. So this one might be good. I don't know. Featured scholarships. I don't like it. Just search up if you. I'm sure if you search up like Tampa scholarships or something like that, there's definitely something will pop up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last question.
yeah,
Do you believe that getting an associate's degree was helpful for you, like either like personal growth or just for your application?
yeah. So if I stayed in Florida, I would have only had to do 2 years of college. I didn't want to do that. I felt like staying debt free was more important to me than the 2 years. I was like, I'll have another 2 years to grow. So I personally didn't stay in Florida and do like only 2 years. But it does give you a lot of flexibility. First, it looks really good. If you're applying in state, it'll help you like specifically for like FSU and UF. There's like specific criteria where you're a different candidate of student. So you have your own like candidacy for those schools, and it's way easier to get in technically. Also, if you apply to UF and you don't get in as a freshman, you'll get in as a transfer student, like 100% guaranteed. But if you're not looking to do the Florida route and trying to go out elsewhere, like out of state, it definitely helps. Like there's not a lot of students with associates applying to like, schools outside of Florida. So yeah, like it looks, it's like what is this kid doing? It does help. It does help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what did you do in high school that you think like helped you like learn a bit more in like research or extracurriculars like band maybe?
Oh no, I cannot play an instrument. Like I'm not. Oof, no. But uh, so are you saying like what do you think was like my biggest like thing? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I
Like,
guess so. Anything like extracurriculars or research opportunities or competitions?
oh, okay. I mean, like I did my lab and then I did a bunch of like conventions after that. So that did help. Like it did help me like kind of get like a professional setting sort of thing and got my name out there a little bit. But I think honestly, if I get what you're saying is more like how do I get my name across? Or is that where you're trying to get at? Like what makes me stand out, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say the top things for me were dual enrollment, so getting an associate's. Uh, let's see what else. Like I did a few like programs outside of the U.S. So like, like advocacy or whatever programs. Like there was basically programs that helped people in completely different countries. That stuff is interesting too, and I'm sure there's a ton in Tampa as well. Uh, Stuff like weird stuff like that, like it's very hard to find, but again, type up niche stuff, and you'll find something. I was an HSS scholar as well, so there's a ton of stuff that was like very okay. This is like 1 in 10,000 sort of thing. Um, yeah, that it's just straight up research, like just sitting down and like searching, Googling like the weirdest combination of letters and finding something. But it works, and you'll find something for sure.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, Tatiana. I may have butchered the name. Wait, Tatiani? I'm so sorry. I'm definitely butchering your name. All right. Well, if you can get your mic, I'll come back to you. Terry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
All right. I was just gonna ask, so just to preface this, I'm like in the exact same boat you were. Like, I also passed a bill in Maryland. I'm big in advocacy. I'm currently dual enrolled, and I just kind of wanted to ask, could you go into a little more about how you put your Common App together? I mean, extracurricular wise, I am a rising senior, so I know it's a little bit late to start anything new and expect it to be acknowledged. And I also wanted to know, how did you put dual enrollment into your Common App? Like, does it just get listed there, or do you have to put it there yourself?
you.
Yeah, just things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It doesn't get listed. You have to put it there yourself. Hold on, let me see. I have not looked at the Common App in like 2 years now, so thank God for that, by the way. Um, yeah. How did I do that? I'm sure there's like an awards section you can probably put it in, or you might want to put it in as an activity. I would talk to your counselor. I honestly forgot. Let me see what I did. Hold on. Activities. I mean, look, when you put your courses and grades too, you're gonna have like a ton of stuff. So it's gonna be pretty obvious that you're at least like doing something. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I listed my research first, then like some scholarships and stuff like not scholarships like stuff that I've done. Did I put it here? I don't think I put it in my activity section. I might have put it in the awards. And then also
Okay.
you have that section where it allows you to like talk about whatever, so you can put it there too.
Oh, the additional information thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's gonna be pretty obvious you have at least like some college stuff because like with all the like dual enrollment courses, I'm assuming like it's gonna be a long list. Yeah, I remember doing that. That took me forever. That was horrible.
Oh,
Good
that's
luck.
very
Good
encouraging.
luck with that. Get a jump on it. Do it early. Also,
I'm trying.
yeah, what's a really honestly something that I did that really helped for the essay. There's an essay question that you can press that's like um no specific question or whatever, like, oh, my essay prompt doesn't fit the question or something. So you can write your essay first and then try to fit it into a question, or just put it doesn't fit any of the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Omatolo. All right, I'm gonna go with Otis then.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, no, don't worry, don't worry. It's all good.
Hi. Yes. If you're talking about like cold emailing and all of that, I wanted to know, like, do you have like a template for emailing, and what is exactly do you ask them, if you don't mind sharing?
I can send you, maybe I can send an email with my I don't have a template to be honest,
Okay.
because I think I took my friend's template. But
Okay.
I can put in the chat, I can put the what I sent to professors.
Okay. Thank you. And one more question.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like this fall, I'm going to be like volunteering with it's like it's a government, it focuses on children, right? Social pediatrics,
Hmm.
and it's more like a social work, psychological kind of organization. But I'm volunteering there as a research assistant, but it's not a lab. So I'm asking like, would that count like as a research experience, especially for like med school?
Yeah, 100%.
Would
Definitely.
that count?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, for sure.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah,
Definitely.
that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, hold on. I'm trying to, because it's too long of an email here. That's the first part. That's the second part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that's your questions, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Otis?
Good afternoon. I have the same question as her, but I have like a small addition to it. Like
Hmm.
saying that as college students, a lot of us don't have much experience get in research. So like how do we send cold emails knowing that we don't have much experience in research?
Well, I mean, just a lot of professors are not expecting you to have research experience already. Just talk about your course experiences. So, like, if you took any dual enrollments or whatever the case is, so let's say I took like AP Chem, just include that. That should help. I was just lucky enough to have research experience, but there's either that or if you're worried about like not having research experience, there's like a ton of like summer research opportunities if you're still like in sophomore, junior year that you could look into for the summer. That should give you some research experience.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Davina, is there anything I missed in the chat?
Not too many things, I think. Let's do one or two more questions and then we'll wrap up. If no one else has their hands raised, though, we can wrap up now. Up to you.
Yeah. So okay. For public publishing research is a bit of like a uh, it's not I don't I mean it depends on what institution you're at, but like usually you know, like if you're with a PI, so like a your investigator, whoever, like a professor or whatnot, that's usually going to be the person who's going to reach out for publication. That's not on you. Um, Unless, I mean, if you're doing a private article or whatever, like maybe sending that to like another student-led organization that does like publications or something like that. But typically, like that, you should not worry about publishing research. Like that's usually up to the PIs. Do you advise me to start studying or learning something while I'm still in school? I mean, yeah, that definitely you should be studying in school. I mean, it's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, do something you enjoy, honestly. Like that's the most important thing you could do. Like do what you enjoy. That's what I did, and that's what helped me. That's what helped me get in. What advice do you have for students trying to secure research opportunity early on? Email, just again, cold email to reach as many professors as you can. How did you decide between BSMD versus regular college admissions? Uh, just a quick sidebar. I am doing like outside of this whole thing, I'm doing BSMD mentorship. So like anyone who's a rising senior, please text me on Slack. I'll also drop my email if that's what you guys want. But I'll be taking basically like three students and helping them go through like the application process for both regular college applications as well as BSMD. So that's something I can definitely dive into way more in private. But for a short answer, it was basically financial aid. The BSDO that I got into was asking me to pay 20,000 a year, and I decided to not take that. I'd rather just go full ride than pay 20,000 a year before ever getting into medical school. Um, so that's why I did that. It was purely financial, but it depends. Person to person is very different. Tatiana?
Hi. So my question is, as a rising senior,
Yeah.
do you like have any like advice with like college application, Common App, etc.?
Yeah. So again, like I said before, like with your essay, um, do your essay first, then try to fit it into a question. Um, yeah, I think like it gives you a lot more flexibility and creativity to do whatever you want, really. That's what I thought really helped me. Um, Another thing is really space it out, like make sure you're scheduling it and like being organized. I wasn't, and that really bit me. Like I did not get my applications, like I got them in on time, but like I remember doing applications of like 11:59, like you know what I mean? Like it's not fun. Like do it organized, space it out, make sure you have enough time to like really calm yourself down and get through the whole application process like as like a breeze. Like set yourself up now for later. Is the best way I would work around the Common App. Um, and yeah, but let's see what else. It's also important to be upfront. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Not all labs are interested in having students publish. 100%. Are there certain skills I need to work on to succeed in medical school? I'm not in medical school, so I don't know 100%, but I can give you like college answer. 100%. No, like be organized, man. Like that really does bite you. It really does suck when you're not organized. Um, yeah, I mean Google Calendar is my best friend. I literally have everything scheduled. I have this scheduled in there. Um, Making sure you have enough time to like space out your personal and private matters, as well as classes and stuff like that is really important. Is it paid? I'm assuming you're talking about the mentorship program. No, it's completely free. Um, so yeah, it's 100% free. And I work alongside a coordinator of a previous, like he ran the BSMD Rutgers program. So he overviewed like all the admissions stuff. So he knows how to write a good essay and he knows how to fix essays as well. So his work is also free, even though he told me his private number and it's I would never pay it, but he's very good. And again, ran his own BSMD like program, so he knows what he's doing. Are there any useful courses or activities I could start now? Again, so a trend that I'm seeing is like people saying like, what should I do? I think the best way to frame it is like, there's no specific guideline as to what you can do to get into college or to medical school. Just do what you are interested in and it'll help you. Like let your personality shine through your application. Don't let it be the opposite. Schools can like really see when you're just doing stuff to fill in time or doing stuff to like put on a resume. And like trust me, I did that too. I have a ton of activities and stuff that I did during high school that were just to like fill in the application, make it look nice, right? Um, but my best advice that I can give you is like really you should do stuff that you are interested in, not the opposite. Schools are not going to go scout looking for specific students. They look more specifically for demographics, not for like, oh, did this student do research, right? Sometimes they're like, oh, we need 20% of our candidates to be in STEM, another 30 to be in humanities or whatever the case. So they'll go around looking for demographics, not specifically, did you do this activity? Does it help if you did research? 100%. But at the same time, if you can't find research and the only thing you can do is like research in something that's completely unrelated and something you're not going to like devote any time to or really care about, maybe do something instead that would like look good on an application but also let your personality shine. That's a big thing. There's not necessarily any one class you can take. There's required courses, obviously, but there's not one class or an activity that you can do that's like, wow, 100% you need to do this. In the sense of like you need to do this to get into college. It's not really a thing. It's more like you need to you need to really just like do stuff that you care about and something that like when you look at an application, you'll be like, okay, that was something you did because you really wanted to be involved. Um, was there a specific achievement that you felt sealed your admission? No, it's all holistic. It's a holistic process. And again, that's why I say let your application and your like your personality shine through your application. There's not one thing that I looked at, I was like, boom, um that's like something I'm doing 100%. It's just like the culmination of everything is like, wow, okay, this is Jonathan. This is who he is, and that should be the same with the application. Like, this is who you are. Paint your story is what I would say. Do you know anything about early assurance programs for MD? Yeah, so that's like BSMD programs, and early assurance programs are kind of the same sort of thing, but while you're in college. So there are a few programs and stuff like that. Some are very school specific. Some are like, for instance, I think like ICANN, FlexMed is like the only one of the only ones that's like, oh, you can be like a student at any school or whatever. So yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna stop taking questions now. So if you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out in Slack. Yeah, message me on Slack or send me an email. Davina can probably put my email down below. But yeah, so just message me and I can definitely I'll schedule 100%. I'll schedule some Zooms or whatever the case is. Also, let me know if you're interested in the BSMD mentorship. I'll tell you how to apply and everything. But yeah,
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for all of the fantastic advice you provided. We put Jonathan's contact information in the chat, and we're also going to be sharing his LinkedIn profile if you want to connect with him. But Jonathan's been doing some really awesome stuff here at MedStem Powered, and he has a ton of experiences that are helpful. So we hope you learned something from his session. And thank you so much again for taking the time to speak to us. People are also saying thank you in the chat.
thank you. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking you through just a small workshop about how to actually get involved with pre-med and research activities in universities. I have created this workshop with very diverse backgrounds in mind. So this is applicable to people that have a ton of research experience and people that have absolutely no pre-med experience and they're just starting out. So I'll share my screen and we'll do our workshop. And if you have questions, you can put them in the chat while I'm presenting. And I'm also going to be sharing my personal CV and cold email templates and the advice that I have because I have a lot of experience with applying to labs in undergrad. And I'm a graduate student now, so I needed to do that to get into grad school as well. Okay. All right. So everyone can see this, I'm assuming? Okay, beautiful. So this is the official part of our workshop. We wanted to feature Jonathan first just because he has a class to get to and he has a ton of experience, so we wanted to make sure you didn't miss it. But this will be our official workshop talking about how to get involved with research and pre-med extracurriculars, both in high school and undergrad. So this is Jonathan's experience. These slides will be shared with you afterwards as well, just in case you had any specific questions for him about specific experiences that he took part in. So, if you want to get involved with medicine in high school and college, the best way to do that as a student with no experience, you're in high school, so you don't have any diplomas or degrees, like Jonathan mentioned, is to do shadowing or hospital volunteering. So it's very simple. You could just start out with a quick Google search of hospitals near me. And like Jonathan mentioned, search up faculty or directory lists. A lot of the times, if specific doctors or hospitals receive an email from a high school student and it's well written and it describes you well, they may be open to letting you volunteer for them, especially if they have a lot on their plate, so they would like a volunteer to do some charting for them, etc. I remember when I was a hospital volunteer in high school, it was a program that was set up by my school. What I would do is I would just let people into the hospital, so, visitors for patients and whatever. So it wasn't specifically medical, but because I got involved very early on, I was able to do something at a hospital, which is very hard to do unless you have degrees, etc. So shadowing and volunteering are very important, and are, if you live close to hospitals, can honestly be very accessible to you. So even if you want to do this right now, feel free. Like, you can Google hospitals near me, look up their faculty or directory lists, see if the doctors there have emails. A lot of the times, the doctors' emails are posted in the hospital directories. So I'll be going through the email template later on and use that to reach out to doctors. The summer is a great time to start shadowing, so you could even use this experience to start shadowing pretty soon. And then if you have experience, or if you have training as a medical assistant, you can also apply for those specific types of jobs. But yes, so when you're in high school, like I mentioned, do hospital or lab shadowing. You can volunteer in a lab. A lot of times people think that because they don't have any experience and they're only a high school student, they can't actually get involved with research or they can't join a lab. But that's not true. A lot of labs on a lot of the time will take volunteers, so you won't get any credit for it, but you will get experience, which will help you when you want to apply for labs in college or university or postgraduate studies, whatever. And they'll take you on as a volunteer to maybe do some tasks that their students are too busy for, or you might be able to help with writing, doing, like lab cleaning, whatever. And that experience is great to put on your resume as well. When you're in high school too, I would also recommend focusing on excellence in things like science clubs. You can do science Olympiad. There's also math Olympiad. Just showing like continuous excellence in specific clubs. So rather than doing like 5 different clubs where you're a general member for all of them, maybe picking 1 or 2 clubs and starting out as a general member, then applying for a leadership position and then leading the club, because that looks better on a CV and it looks better when you're applying to specific experiences. So when you're an undergraduate student, there's a lot more that's open to you. So you could also be a lab course student. You could be an undergraduate thesis student. So an undergraduate thesis student is typically only for 4th-year university students. And what you do is you essentially spend your senior year of university in a lab and you complete a mini project, like a mini graduate student project, and you can write a thesis on it. You can even potentially submit it as well. But it's great experience if you're applying to medical school, especially if you're working in a lab that's doing healthcare research or they're doing disease research, because that shows medical schools and graduate schools that you've taken the initiative to get involved with research as an undergrad. But if you've taken core science classes and you're in your 2nd or 3rd year of university and you're looking to apply to join a lab, this is something that you could definitely do. And then also excellence in undergraduate activities. So show that you can be a vice president or a president of university level clubs. Pre-med societies, I feel a bit iffy about. A lot of universities have a ton of pre-med societies. And honestly, I never really see that benefiting people too much. I never really see it looking super fantastic on med school applications, because your med school application or your grad school application should show a variety of experiences that tell a story about you. Whereas if you just do a pre-med society, it doesn't really show that much. It doesn't show as much as maybe volunteering in a lab where they actually do medical research, or shadowing in a hospital where you're actually interacting with patients. That shows that you are pre-med more than pre-med societies, but I know that some people do them and it ends up working well for them. So you could do that. Clinical exposure is also really well. You can still volunteer in hospitals, and then excellence in research. And again, this is a similar advice to when you're in high school, only a few leadership roles. So not being like the president of 5 clubs or doing 5 things all at once. Rather, try to tell a story about yourself. So do a few things that demonstrate that you are very passionate and very serious about specific types of activities. We get a lot of students applying to MedStem Powered as well for leadership positions, and some of our most successful applicants have a few experiences where they really have shown continuous leadership and they've been involved with a specific activity for a couple of years. So it really shows us that they're very committed to it, as opposed to students that apply with like 10 different experiences. And I'm not saying that you have to have only a few experiences to apply here, or that if you have 10 experiences, it won't look as good. But we really like seeing continuous commitment and that type of leadership. So I shared this during our neuroscience workshop, but I figured it might be timely to share it here as well. But when you're picking a university, it's very important to see if the university has things like a research hospital. Does the university have professors that are completing research that you are interested in? Does the university have affiliation with hospitals that will allow you to do shadowing? So I picked my university, A, because it had a really strong neuroscience program, so I knew I would be able to do some kind of research. And it was also affiliated with the Children's Hospital. So I knew if I wanted to do shadowing, there were people there that would be able to, help me and let me do shadowing with them. So I'd recommend doing that. And then, doing a lot of different courses that will help strengthen your transcripts. So taking harder classes like Orgo. You might need to take Orgo if you are applying to med school as well. I think you need both Orgo 1 and Orgo 2 when you're applying to med school. Unfortunately, yes, we have to do Orgo. It's very difficult, but is unfortunately required for med school. So taking those classes and being smart about your schedule. So if you know that there's a specific year of undergrad where you're going to have to take both Orgos or some very difficult courses, take some easier classes with that so that you're not drowning in your schedule. That's something I definitely wish that I did, because I had to do both Orgos as well. And then for graduate school, so I'm going to share with you my CV and my cold email template. But like Jonathan said, I had to send out a ton of emails. Even though I had a thesis project and I had research experience, it's really hard to get experience. And it's really hard to get professors to respond to you. So I ended up sending out 82 cold emails to supervisors across 3 or 4 different universities. And of the 82 emails I sent out for grad school, I got maybe 5 or 6 responses and 3 potential offers. And of that, I accepted 1. So it's crazy. It's like what, a 1% hear back rate, or, a response rate. But I would definitely recommend reaching out to literally as many people as you possibly can. And then once you start university, getting involved with activities. But I'll talk about what your cold email should look like, and how do you even format a cold email if you're a high school student, if you're someone with literally no research experience, how do you get your foot in the door? So I'll be talking about that as well. So these are some activities I did in high school. If you have any questions about any of these, because I think most of these are open to all students, regardless of your region as well, except for the first one. So if you have any questions, you can also message me afterwards. But I was a teaching assistant at Fiveable, which is a company that's based in Milwaukee. So it's based in the United States. And I helped teach like SAT Math, English, AP Bio, AP Psych, AP Calculus. And I did that kind of between high school and undergrad. And then another nonprofit that I actually worked for quite some time was Simply Neuroscience. So I helped lead up this advising program for neuroscience students, where we paired up established neuroscientists with high school students to help them get their, help answer their questions about how do I actually, get involved with neuroscience and how did you get to where you were. So they're always hiring for entry-level positions and just general members. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And it's a youth-based international nonprofit, so you can apply regardless of your region as well. And like I mentioned during the neuroscience workshop, I was involved with the Brain Bees. I placed third in 2020. I did not place in 2019. And then I also got my seal of biliteracy. So I took AP Spanish in high school, and what they offered for us was the opportunity to take this additional exam in addition to our AP Spanish exam that would give us a seal of biliteracy offered by our state, which was actually very cool. And I used that on I use it on my application, so it was great. And then for undergrad activities, so in undergrad, I really tried to focus all of my experiences in research and science education, because that's what I'm the most passionate about, is neuroscience education and then doing research in those fields. So a lot of my experiences focus on that, which told the professors whose labs I was applying to, it really showed them that I had very specific interests and I had stuck with it. So I was a neuroscience project student and I also did a thesis in Dr. Jonathan Cannon's lab. So that was cognitive neuroscience. And actually, the way that I ended up getting the position was he had come to one of our classes to just give a little talk about his research. And emailed him the day after using my cold email structure to be like, hey, I know you're a new professor. Do you have any capacity to take on a volunteer student? And he did. And so he took me on as a volunteer student for a year. And then I was able to do a thesis project with them. So sometimes it's about emailing the right professor at the right time. If there are networking events at your school, highly recommend going to them to talk to professors and then emailing them right afterwards while they still remember who you are. I was also a wet lab volunteer in a neurophysiology lab. And the way that I got that position was I was in the lab course. So it was a class where we did neurophysiology experiments with crayfish. And after the class was done, I just emailed and asked, do you have any volunteer positions? And they did. And the work was not very glamorous. I was cleaning crayfish tanks and they low-key smell really disgusting. But I had a lot of fun and it gave me wet lab experience where I wouldn't have been able to get that otherwise. And it was also done over the summer. So I didn't really have anything else going on besides the summer program, obviously. So I mean, it's just the best. Those were the two most consistent positions that I had, and it was just because I emailed a professor, I contacted them at just the right time. So I also did lab courses, and for my thesis project in my fourth year of university, I ended up writing a thesis. I was able to present at some conferences, etc. So that all got added to my CV as well, which really helped my applications when I was applying to grad school. I did a ton of tutoring as well. So I was mostly a tutor in math and calculus. So you can do private tutoring. Private tutoring is totally fine. I think for private tutoring, what I did was I posted messages in these Facebook groups for parents of university students asking if their kids needed tutoring. And that's what ended up working because a lot of times when kids need tutoring, they ask their parents. And so I was able to tutor a couple of students there. And of course, I have science education. So me and a partner went into like third grade classes and we would do science demonstrations with them, which was really fun. And that was a club at my school. Highly, highly recommend just looking up all of the clubs offered by your university or your high school just to see what you can get involved with. This is a great time to start looking at that stuff because you would probably want to get involved starting in September. So I'd highly recommend that. And then, of course, I have MedStem Powered. Some other activities, again, neuroscience education. So I helped organize a bunch of Brain Bee teams and networking events as well. And then I also did a case study competition in undergrad, and my team placed first. And I had some like awards, like our biology honor roll and our dean's honor list. So as you can see, all of my experiences are very interconnected, and that really helped me because I was able to tell a very specific story about myself, which my professors liked. Okay, so before I share with you my email templates that I used when I applied for my thesis lab and got in, and the email templates that I used when I applied to graduate school and ended up getting in, I wanted to tell you about the do's and don'ts of emailing doctors and scientists when you want to reach out for shadowing, when you want to reach out for research positions. So, do include a variety of positions that you're open to. Don't just say you're only open to being a neuroscience student or a study student or a thesis student or whatever. Say that you're open to volunteering or extra credit work if you are, because that highly increases your chances of placement. Like I mentioned, when I was in undergrad, the whole reason I essentially got a thesis project was because I was open to volunteering first. They liked the volunteering work, and then they invited me to stay on to do a thesis project. Make sure you spend time reading the professor or the doctor's medical case study work and come up with creative questions when you email them because you want to show them that you are capable of critically thinking and that you will actually be, a good addition to their team. And make sure you spend time on your CV and your transcripts. Make them short, make them concise. Professors in university and doctors too, they'll get a lot of emails from students that want to work with them. So it's really important that you have a good CV, a good email off the bat. Some things that I've heard from professors that hire students is that you should not say that you will be an invaluable asset to the team, especially if you have no experience. They prefer it when you say that, hey, I actually don't have that much experience, but I love learning and what you do sounds really interesting to me. So I would be happy to work from the ground up and learn the skills that you want to teach me, even if it's just from students too. So yeah, that's something that a piece of advice I got from an established scientist at my university, where he gets tons and tons of emails from students. And he said, if you don't have any experience, don't tell me that you're going to be an invaluable asset. Instead, approach it from a more humble route. So I wanted to share that with you because I know sometimes people tell you to say that you're going to be an invaluable asset to the team, and the team really needs you, but approach it from a different lens, and that might actually work out better for you. And make sure that you don't forgo the publications portion of the email. Make sure that you read the papers that they've been publishing. They want to know that you know what they're working on. And don't talk about yourself too much. Don't make the whole email about your accomplishments and your interests and whatever. Focus on, if you say an accomplishment, talk about how that's going to make you a good fit in the lab. If you have a club or a course that you've done, talk about how that knowledge is going to directly translate into you being a good student in the lab. So for example, you did anatomy and physiology course in undergrad, and their lab is specifically looking at a specific part of the body and how it works. Talk about how that course is going to help you be a good student and is going to give you good background. And then a very, very important piece of advice. If you are applying for things like graduate school, where it's a long-term commitment to, or even just like a thesis project in undergrad, do not apply or accept a position in a lab without talking to the members of the lab first. So when I was applying to graduate school, like I mentioned, I had 3 potential offers that I was deciding between. And I reached out to the people in the lab for one of the specific offers that I got, and they were like, don't do it. Don't do it. The lab culture is incredibly competitive, and students are not there to help each other. And if you accept the position, you're essentially going to be miserable. And thank God I reached out to them first and I didn't end up accepting the position. And I actually know some people that are in that lab now, and they're saying the same thing. So it's really important that you reach out to the lab members first. If the lab has a website, if the lab PI is on LinkedIn, you can find the people in the lab pretty easily. So I definitely recommend not applying without talking to those people first. And then just some last advice. Go to the networking events, email the professors or the doctors right after you're done the course. This helps a ton in getting those positions. Like Jonathan and I mentioned too, longevity over quantity of experiences. And don't be afraid to just start out with doing a Google search of shadowing opportunities near me, doctors near me, labs near me. A lot of hospitals have labs too, so you can apply there. And if you have family, friends, peers, or colleagues that might be able to help, talk to them. It's great if you have those connections first. You don't have to start from the ground up. If you know someone that works in a hospital, talk to them and ask, hey, do you work with this specific doctor? Or do you know anyone that might be nice and willing to take on a shadowing student? Because that can also help you get your foot in the door. And like I mentioned earlier, try to avoid only doing leadership positions in pre-med societies. Instead, do other science and medical things that shows that you're a pre-med student, not just telling people that you're a pre-med student by just getting involved in those societies. I see a lot of students in undergrad just doing that as their major extracurricular, and it does not end up looking very good on your application, so I would recommend against it, but that is just my own personal advice. There are lots of different things that you can do. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to share that with all of you afterwards, but now I want to take you through how you should be structuring your CV and how you should be writing your cold email templates. And yes, everything will be shared with you at the end of the workshop, so don't worry. Okay, so this is what your CV should look like. When I was an undergrad, my CV was light blue. I had some colors on there, and I got the advice that I should make everything black and white because it looks more professional, it looks more clean. So even though my favorite color is light blue, which you can probably tell because Medicine Powered's logo is light blue, our whole social media is light blue. I actually didn't know that when I was creating all the social media for it. I just leaned towards light blue, so that's why all of our colors are light blue, fun fact. You should make your CV a little bit more professional. So this is my cleaned up version of my CV. And again, I'm not trying to take away an Elle Woods moment from anyone. I love the pink scented CV as much as the next person. But if you find that this advice is helpful, then take it. But if you want to go out there and make your CV colorful, I don't have anything against that. In fact, I would prefer it if my CV was light blue. Okay, so this is an editable template too. This is a template that I created myself, so you can make a copy of it and insert your experiences here. So let's see. Yeah, so you start out with your full name here. Put your degree. If you're a high school student, you could say you are in the process of earning a high school diploma. If you only have a high school diploma, that's fine too. If you're an undergraduate student, you could say like a bachelor's of science candidate, or you're a bachelor's of science student. You can put that there. Put your email here, put your phone number. Where are you located? Where's your school located? And then your preferred pronouns. Then start out with your education. So what is your degree going to be in? Is it going to be in science? Is it going to be in the arts? Is it going to be in social science? Put your major here and the dates that you are, participating in this degree in there. And then put your GPA here. If you're doing a research project, put that up here as well. If you have taken important courses that you think would reflect well on a CV, which is a curriculum vitae, so it shows people your academic productivity, put your courses here. This is just a snapshot of who you were in university, so you want this to be reflective of you. Then you go to your research experience. If you are a pre-med student applying for shadowing experience, you can change this research to be clinical experience or research and clinical experience. It doesn't have to be one or the other. This is just my template. So put your research title here. So for example, were you a thesis student? Were you a lab volunteer, a research volunteer? Whatever it was, put it there. Put your university or hospital affiliation there. Put your supervisor and principal investigator name here, and then the title of your project. And most importantly, what did you do in the project? Even if all you did was clean up some data and put numbers in spreadsheet, put some numbers in a spreadsheet, like hype that up like it was the most important spreadsheet that you've ever worked on in your entire life. You can talk about how, that data ended up being published in a manuscript, or that data was really important in coming up with this experiment that's gonna, help with this specific disease or blah, 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 blah. Really talk about it and hype it up like you were doing very important work, because all science work is really important, even the shiny and the fancy work and the not so fancy work. Talk about the skills that you've learned. If you improved your scientific communication by publishing manuscripts, etc., write that down here. Literally write anything you can and then share it with people to get feedback so it's not too long. If you did lab volunteering or clinical volunteering, shadowing, this is the place to put it. Talk about the doctors you worked with, the hospitals that you worked with. What did you do here? How many patients were you interacting with on a regular basis? Put numbers in your CV. Adding numbers makes things so much more tangible. So, for example, you worked 100 hours. Instead of I worked over the summer, put I worked 100 hours, or I gained 100 hours of this specific experience. I interacted with 20 patients. I wrote a 50-page thesis. Put the numbers in there because that makes the experience more real. If you took lab courses in high school, if you're just a high school student, you can change this lab courses thing to instead just be, high school courses, relevant classes, etc. You can put your grades in there as well. That's totally fine. I want to make sure that this is applicable to anyone with any type of experience. And then for academic productivity, if you're a high school student, you probably don't have manuscripts or publications. Instead, just put, papers you've written for classes. Did you go to any high school conferences? Did you do any high school clubs? Just put that there. If you're an undergrad student, you should be putting the conferences that you've been presenting. You can put conferences that you've attended as well in there, and then just any other academic productivities. Next up, we have employment. So you can put any type of employment here. You put, the title of your position, name of your employer, and then description of all the tasks, recognitions, the meetings you presented at, just anything that you think would be relevant, put it all in there. For extracurricular activities, try to pick no more than 3 or 4 extracurricular activities. Always start with the role that's the most impactful one. So for me, my top role in my CV is MedStem Powered, because that's the one that's the most impactful to me and the activity that I'm the most passionate about. So start with that. Talk about the things that you did at this specific club, this specific activity, this specific role. What did you do? What did you organize? Include any accomplishments? Did you work with any established doctors, scientists, researchers, whatever? You can put volunteer positions here too. That's totally fine. And then include how many hours you provided volunteer services for. The very last section should be honors and awards. This, I would say, if you can put between maybe 5 and 8 honors and awards, that would be great. You can put honor roll, that counts. Any competitions you've done, etc. So if you participate in our medical debate and you get an award, you can put that here. If you participate in our research symposium and you get a research award, you can put that here. So if that is some incentive to participate, then yay. But okay, this is the entire CV template that you can use when you are reaching out to professors. And now I will show all of you my cold email template. So the purpose of a cold email is to introduce yourself to someone and make a case to someone to tell them why you should be able to work for them, you should be able to volunteer with them, why you should be given the opportunity to shadow with them. It is your one shot at making a case for yourself and showing that you are a capable student that is smart, that is capable of reading their publications and coming up with really creative questions. And it's your shot at showing them who you are. So it's really important to write up a good cold email, and hopefully with this template that I'll be sharing with you later on, that becomes a little bit easier. So we start out with, dear professor or doctor's name. I hope you're doing well. My name is so-and-so. I've just completed my degree, or I'm in the process of completing my degree or high school diploma at X specific high school or X specific undergraduate college. And in bold, I'm interested in serving as a volunteer, student shadower, clinical shadower, graduate student, research student, whatever, in your lab or your hospital. And then include what your future plans are in that sentence. Say that you're passionate about research, medicine, or science, and you intend to pursue some type of degree there. So the stuff that I have in those brackets there is the stuff that you can input depending on your specific interests. Then your next paragraph should be you talking about the work that they've done. So if you just type in on Google Scholar the name of the professor or the doctor or whatever, you can find some papers that they've recently published. So these are scientific papers. Read one of them, or you can even just read the abstract and tell them about it. So say, hey, I read your recent publication entitled, and put the publication name there, because sometimes these people are publishing a lot of papers, so they get a little bit confusing, and you were really interested to learn about this specific key finding. So let's say this was a paper that was trying to figure out whether patients with brain cancer responded more to this specific drug, drug A or drug B. So you could say, hey, I read your recent publication entitled New Drug Treatments for Brain Cancer, and you were interested to learn about how patients responded more and had better clinical outcomes when they were administered drug A. And then ask them a question about it. You can say something like, would this be the same result if we repeated this study in younger patients? If we repeated this study in older patients? Would an interesting follow-up study be to look at the effects of these drugs across different geographical locations too? Because cancer prevalence is different depending on the region that you live in. Ask a creative question that shows that you know how to creatively come up with something that is high level, because their science work is high level. So ask that question there. Full disclosure, they're probably not going to respond to that question, but the purpose of the question is to show that you understand what their work is about, and maybe you've brought something up that they haven't considered before. The next paragraph is where you hype yourself up. So you say, as a student passionate about science, medicine, insert whatever you're passionate about there. You've immersed yourself in a variety of activities that support these interests. So talk about the classes, courses, activities that you've done. Connect it to what you've learned and how that is going to make you a good student in their hospital, in their lab. Talk about leadership. So have you run your own club? Are you the president of something? Did you organize something? If so, put that there. And then it's always nice to know that people are people outside of school. So talk about what you've done for fun outside of school. Did you play any sports? Do you have any hobbies? Anything. You can literally put anything there. And then the last paragraph should be, that you think that your lab would be a great fit to continue your learning journey. If you don't have experience, throw something in there like, even though I don't have direct experience working with this, I think the most important thing is that I'm just very passionate about learning, and I'd be happy to work in any capacity that you have. You can tell them you'd like to discuss this further, and make sure in your initial email that you are attaching your CV and your transcript so they can look at it. And then you sign it off with your name, your degree or diploma, your school name, and your department. So you can send these emails out to literally anyone. I think over the course of my entire life, I've probably sent out between 100 and 200 cold emails. And not a lot of people are going to respond to you, and that's okay. You just need one or two responses, which will make it all worth it. So send these out to doctors, send these out to scientists. If you can connect with students in a lab, that's great, because those students in working in that lab, or those medical students working with a specific doctor, they may be able to tell you whether the doctor or scientist is taking on students in the first place. It's great to connect with people. Sometimes students only focus on contacting the professor, but the people that work in the lab are arguably even more important than the professor, especially if you're going to have to be working with them. So it's really important to try and reach out to those students as well. So you can send out tons of these. You can even get started on this now. So let's say you've come up with a list of professors and doctors in your area, and you want to start your shadowing now. You could start sending out a bunch of these emails and see what your response rate is looking like. And again, you send out these emails to people, and you use this CV template to, put all of your personal accomplishments and what your academic activities have looked like. And then, well, you can see how it goes. I will potentially be able to provide some feedback for some of you on your CVs and your cold emails. There are just 800 of you and one of me, so it might take me a little while. But if you are serious about shadowing and you're serious about research and you want advice on your CV once it's done, I will do my very best to get back to you if you message me on Slack and share a copy with it and give you some feedback on your CV as someone that has worked on my CV a ton and as someone that also receives CVs from students. Okay, so I'm gonna share all of these links in the chat now, and then I would love to take some questions from students if you have questions about literally anything that I was talking about. So feel free to raise your hand if you have questions. I'm going to be putting the links in the chat, so write questions in the chat if you have those as well. All right, give me 1 sec. Just want to make sure I get all the links properly. And for all of these, you can make a copy of it and edit it. So it's very easy. It's all in Google Docs. And I will share all of this with you on Slack later on, especially if you are not able to see the chat for any reason. Okay, it has been sent. Beautiful. Okay, so I am going to take a couple of hands and then I'll see if people have questions in the chat. So Selena, do you have a question?
Yes, my question was, how do you respectfully turn down labs if you get like more than one offer and you're only able to participate one per semester?
Great question. So I would, especially if you want to keep that connection open in the future,
Right.
I would recommend responding to the offer that you've gotten and saying something like, "Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. It was great to chat with you and learn more about your lab. I really love what you're doing. Unfortunately, I will be going with another offer at this time." Or you could phrase it as, "I've found another offer that is better suited to my current interests, but I would still love to stay connected with your lab and your work, and I hope to stay in touch." So you
Okay,
can phrase it
perfect.
as not just I'm rejecting you, bye bye,
Yeah.
but I am going with a different offer, but because I still really like what you're working on, I would love to stay in touch. Do you have a LinkedIn? Do you have a preferred method of communication?
Okay, thank you. And is there a way to kind of get that typed up, kind of like your cold email? I know you have a lot of things to keep track of, but just so I remember exactly how to insert that in an email.
Yeah, I can add that to the cold email template. If you scroll down on the cold email template too, you'll see the sample email that Jonathan shared. I put that in there as well. So I can add that to that as well. And if I don't, you can send me a reminder by like Wednesday or Thursday to put it
Okay,
in.
perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, also, I want to address this one question in the chat because it's such a good question. Should you follow up when emailing or is it nagging for professors or labs? It's a great question because what if you're sitting here and you've sent out 50 emails and you're like, no one's gotten back to me, and it's been a couple of weeks. If the rule of thumb is if it's been at least a week, fine to follow up. Do not be spamming people because that will make your chances of getting in significantly reduced. So wait a week, email them. If they haven't responded in a week, wait a couple more weeks before reaching out. Generally, you should not be following up with people more than 2 or 3 times because at that point they're probably just not going to get back to you. But you definitely can, but there is a very fine line to balance between following up with people and then, of course, spamming them. I've definitely had to follow up with people before as well. And honestly, it's just that they're very busy. So they've been meaning to get back to you, but they get so many emails that they just haven't found the time. So it's totally okay to follow up with people. But if you send an email, you should not be following up with them the next day or even a couple of days after. You should be waiting at least a week, and I would recommend 2 weeks. So I would say 2 weeks, and then if they haven't responded to that, wait another week or two to follow up. And then I would say give it a rest after that. Okay, Marley, you're up next.
I have a question about one of the advice that you have told us about. That do not join pre-med societies. This advice I've taken from many people, you know, but I didn't reach it. When you see my application, essays, CV, you will feel like I'm distracted. I joined many things that are not related. I'm not talking about what seem. So, what's your advice about this thing?
Yeah, I totally understand that. And honestly, in some cases, joining pre-med societies, they're not a bad thing, especially because it'll allow you to make friends with people that are also applying for the MCAT. You can talk to other people about their experiences. What I was talking about was more referring to that being your only medical activity or your only pre-medical activity. That's the only thing you're doing. That might not be enough, but it's totally fine to still participate in activities like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. John, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Mhm.
Let's say I'm a high school graduate and I will not be able to get the opportunity to work in a lab with the professor because I'm an international student and I'm far away. So what if I'm interested in doing shadowing or research with this professor? How am I going to put it in the email you send?
For your specific case, then I would ask if people have any virtual opportunities. So sometimes for students, when they work in a lab, their work is still virtual. Like I have some friends in grad school where their research they can entirely work from home because they're working with already published data sets, etc. Some professors might have done a bunch of studies and they have all the data now, but they don't have the time to analyze it. So they might take you on to do that as well because you can do that all from the comfort of your own home. You would just probably need internet. So I would, instead of saying in-person opportunities, ask if they have any virtual or asynchronous opportunities for you because honestly, more labs these days are open to asynchronous and virtual work. So I would say that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Julie?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
So if you don't mind, I have two questions to ask you. The first one being, I was selected to be the representative for my department in college. So I was wondering how to incorporate this into my CV.
So you were selected to be what for your college?
The representative.
Yeah, so you could add that under academic experiences. If you're getting paid for it, that would be employment. If it's volunteer, then that would be volunteer. And that would count as leadership if you're being selected to represent something.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. The second one is I was emailing my professor so that I could be a junior teaching assistant in her lab. And she responded to me 8 days ago, and she thanked me for the kind words and that she will review my application. And I didn't get the response yet, so I was wondering if this is grounds to email her again.
That's a great question. I would actually say don't follow up with her until it's been 2 weeks since she said that, just because she may need to talk to other people on her team to review your application. So you could also email her and ask and say, thank you so much for taking the time to review my application. When do you think I could hear back from you? I think that would be a perfectly reasonable email to send.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No worries. Isra?
Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, in the CV, should I include everything I have done or only what's relevant to the opportunity I'm applying for? Like, if I'm applying to a medical field the program, is it okay to include math competitions and programming courses I have taken? Will this increase my chance or not?
That's a great question. So, even on my CV, I have not included every single activity that I have participated in since, high school because that's just way, way too much. But I would definitely say don't just include only medical opportunities. So if you've done coding classes and programming stuff, that's really awesome and you should still include it. Just don't include too much of it. So that's why I only recommend 3 to 5 activities. So you pick the 3 to 5 activities that fit in the best. If you're applying for a medical job, three of those activities could be medical related, and one or two of them could be, completely outside of school. So like sports, athletics, whatever, music. And another one could be, I don't know, if you do some sort of English or writing thing, if you do coding, something that's not directly related to medicine. So medicine should be the focus, but it should not just be the only thing that you're including. That's a great question.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Sahasra?
Hi. So recently I attended this seminar where they talked about heart disease, and I found this study which I was really interested in. And I know in your cold email, if I want to reach out to them, I would have to include like I was interested in volunteering here and what courses I have done to show like I have background knowledge. Could I like somehow incorporate that I intended a webinar that sparked my interest for it?
Oh, for sure, you definitely can. You don't have to stick to just the rigid list that I've put there. If you haven't taken any classes, but you've done webinars and that would be more interesting, take out the class part and definitely put in the webinar part.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, the purpose of the cold email template is just to be a template, so you should be able to adapt it to your specific interests. But yes, just wanted to put that out there so you don't feel limited by what I have shared. Okay, cool. Kayla?
Um, you were talking about when like an application for when we are trying to get into a lab. What application would we submit? Is it just a CV or is there another application that we have to submit?
Great question. For most labs, that application is really just your cold email and your CV. Some labs, if they get a ton of people applying, they may have like a Google form or something where you apply just to manage all of the emails. But for most people, it's that cold email that is your application and your CV that is your application.
Okay, and also what's the difference between the resume and the CV?
So a resume doesn't include as much information and detail about your academic productivities, your GPA, honor roll, etc. A CV is meant to focus mostly on your academics, also some of your extracurriculars, but mostly on your academic productivity, where a resume is more so just like everything that you've done, not particularly focused on school.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I'll take some questions from the chat. Feel free to put your hands up as well. Um, let's see. Oh, a CV is a curriculum vitae, so it's just essentially an academic version of a resume. When should you generally start composing these emails and sending them out? Great question. So, if you are interested in joining a lab in September, I would recommend reaching out now. If you would like to join a lab in the winter, like December or January, still reach out now, but you can reach out between like now and October. If you are interested in joining a lab for next year, you could start reaching out between September and January. So it kind of depends on when you want to start the position, but I would leave many, many months in between your email and when you want to start. Do you need to include a CV on your cold email? Absolutely. That is a very important part of your application. So you need to include your CV and you should definitely include your transcripts as well. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Are there any virtual tutoring opportunities? Yeah, there are a ton of virtual tutoring opportunities, especially since people have moved towards doing things online since the pandemic. Like this program only exists because the pandemic forced us all to be online, which was good and bad. But anyways, yeah, there are tons of virtual tutoring opportunities. There are a lot of virtual tutoring companies too, but you could even try to do private virtual tutoring. I prefer private tutoring over working for a specific company, A, because you get paid better, but also because you set your hours more and there's more flexibility. But of course, it is a bit harder to work for yourself. Someone asks, how can I decide that my CV is good enough to stop activities and give more focus on the study? So if you have at least a couple of different clubs or activities or events that you're involved with, if you have some academic productivities like papers, abstracts, and you generally feel like you have enough to fill out those different sections on the CV that I was talking about, then you could probably stop getting involved with more activities and focus more on longevity, focus more on research, focus more on shadowing. Well, that's a good question, and it's very personal. So I can't answer that question for you because you are the only person that can accurately say what you think is accurate or what best fits your needs and interests, but that's just my general advice. Do you recommend emailing professors directly as a high school student or waiting until undergrad? I would say email them now. Because you're a high school student, just to set your expectations, you're probably more likely to get volunteering as opposed to an actual paid position, but definitely reach out now because there's no disadvantage to it. The worst thing that they can do is say no, they don't have any opportunities, but labs do hire high school students to do work for them, so there's no downside to applying now. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I had in the chat. If I've missed anything, you can raise your hand. If you have any additional questions, you can also reach out to me on Slack. As a high school student, what do you suggest to start applying for volunteering in hospitals or shadowing? So, like I mentioned, Google the faculty or directory lists and then get those emails and reach out to those people. And then as a high school student, or how do you reach out to professors? Same thing. So I will also be, again, resharing all of the different email templates and slides and whatever in Slack after the session. So no worries if you missed it in the chat. So Asra, do you have a question?
Yes. So in my school, we have like a lot of medical clubs, but we don't have any clubs like basically concentrated to one field. So I guess we don't have much about psychology and neuroscience. So I know you have MedStem powered, and I believe that's like it's a really good program, and I think it would be beneficial for my school and my community. So do you have any advice on like going on with like a psychology or a neuroscience program in my school?
Yeah, so if you have people that would be interested in a psychology or a neuroscience program, I would definitely say if it's possible for you to create your own club, go for it. And then see what activities you could do. So the Brain Bee is very related to neuroscience, so you could incorporate that. You could bring in guest speakers. You could do different neuroscience like workshops, activities. You could do a journal club. There are lots of different things that you can do, and I would say definitely worth giving it a shot.
Okay. Were there like can you share your struggles about like creating a club or like this program?
Yes. So, not related to MedStem Powered, but I created a stock market club in high school because I was interested in like I was interested in how the stock market worked, and I thought that other students would be interested in as well. But honestly, it just got too much for me to manage, and I don't think I understood as much about the stock market as I should have when trying to create a club like that. But we ended up having this really knowledgeable advisor who would take us through like these different simulations about the stock market, which was really nice. But I would say definitely do an activity because you're really interested in it and you're really passionate about it. And maybe avoid leadership positions and things you're not as interested in. Not that I wasn't interested in the stock market, but I just don't, I think stock market and neuroscience are very different things. So, but I was also in high school, so I was still figuring out what I was interested in. So that was one struggle was, that, and then also getting people to join. So
Yeah.
when you're in high school, getting people to join clubs is kind of hard unless you're very established. So I think one thing that we really benefit from MedStem Powered is that anyone can join from any region and any stage or walk of life. We have students that are in middle school all the way up to, we've even had like parents do our program as well, which is really awesome. So by allowing anyone from any stage of life to participate, you eliminate some of those barriers. But yes, I also will say that I really, really do love the summer program and what we do here. So it makes it a lot easier to deal with all of the work that comes associated with running a very large, and I believe the only free pre-medical virtual program that exists for 800 students. So being really passionate about it helps a ton.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Someone asks, as a rising senior, do you think it's too late to start passion projects like creating a new club? Absolutely not. I honestly think my senior year was more impactful than my other 3 years of high school because that's when I placed in Brainbee. And I created MedStem Powered when I was 16. So it was at the end of my senior year of high school. And those were probably two of the most impactful experience I've had. So I would say definitely not. Don't let that stop you from doing something new. Okay, Casey?
Do you have any suggestions on like places to volunteer or like roles as a volunteer or like anything that you've enjoyed in general?
Yes, so I've linked a couple of things in my slides, like Simply Neuroscience. I really enjoyed working there. It's very well organized. It's also student run. That's really great. You can start off as a general member and then pick a couple of different departments you're interested in. And they always have leadership opportunities open as well for general members that have been involved. Would highly recommend that. Also, it's all virtual, so it's very accessible. And then I've also linked Fiveable as well, so you can get involved with that, although I think they may hire more high school students as opposed to undergrad. And then I'm trying to find shadowing opportunities within hospitals with doctors in fields that you would like. So if you're interested in like cardiology, maybe not applying for shadowing positions outside of those different fields. But I would say try out a bunch of different things, and then that'll help you figure out what you're actually interested in. Because I've definitely tried out a bunch of different things before merging into science education and medicine powered and research and stuff like that. So it's totally okay to do something and be like, nope, not for me.
Yeah, and then like to go off of that, like for hospital volunteering, if there isn't like a position listed, do you just email the volunteer office or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about is for positions that are not listed. Professors usually don't list that they're hiring for grad students. Hospitals don't list that they're hiring for volunteers, and that's okay. You can make your own position. You can reach out to hospitals, you can reach out to doctors and just ask if they are willing to take you on because they may be considering it. More doctors are interested in hiring volunteers than they're willing to admit, or not willing to admit, but that are, information is
Right.
publicly available.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes I get kind of like discouraged because I'm like, will a doctor like take me as a volunteer? But I think like cold emailing and just seeing what's available will definitely help out. So thank you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, cold emailing will be your best friend when you're doing stuff like this. And if you can show up in person, that's awesome too. If there's an in-person hospital with an in-person volunteering office, you could try that as well. But yes, yeah, cold emailing is awesome because I definitely have been introduced to so many people and have worked in so many different capacities because of that. So it's awesome. Okay, Dorcas?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. My question is, how do you feel about like putting academic standings or like certificates on like a CV or something, like principal's list or like high honors? How do you feel about that?
I feel fantastic about it. When I was in high school, I put my class rank on my resume. I even included that in some of my cold emails when I was in early undergrad, because when you're a freshman in college, all you have are your high school experiences. So I would say put as many things as possible in that awards section. I would say don't put more than 10 things, but if you have honor roll, principals list, whatever, definitely put that all there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah, on your CV, I wouldn't say it would be considered as like bragging. It's hyping yourself up. It's really showing people who you are and what you're capable of. So really be proud of yourself and all of your accomplishments and put all of that stuff in there. And yes, like Ahmad said, reaching out to people on LinkedIn is also fantastic. And I have definitely done that as well. And what we mean when we say cold emailing is just that you're emailing someone that you don't know. So, for example, if you email someone that you've worked with, it's not really a cold email. If you're emailing someone that you have never spoken to, but you've read about them, they're near you, whatever, that's a cold email because you don't know them. So it's cold, I guess. I don't know. I didn't come up with the word, so that's just my best guess. But that's what we mean when we say cold emailing. Okay, I have another question in the chat. I really only decided now what major I would like to do, and because of that, I basically just started to do some extracurriculars with said major. Do you think it'll have a negative effect on your college application? Definitely not. I still think you have time to build up some activities and get some good experience there when you apply for college. And it doesn't discount the other activities that you've done. Those will still be very good. If you're interested in one specific thing, doing other activities and having leadership in those other activities doesn't take away from that, which is important to note. So yes, and yeah, talking about how you got there is also very impactful. So yeah, absolutely. I am the champion of it's never too late to get involved with anything. I got involved with some of the most impactful stuff that I did after high school and kind of late in the game and all of that stuff. So I never think it's too late for anyone to get involved with things because I think the perfect time to get involved is just right now, whatever right now means for you. Okay, perfect. I don't see any other questions in the chat. You're more than welcome to reach out to me on Slack, and I really hope this was helpful. It's very important to me to share all of the advice that I have learned over the past couple of years because not a lot of people share their cold emails, their CV templates, the advice on how to stay motivated when you're applying to so many labs and no one's reaching out to you, and how do you get started when you have no experience. So it's very important to me that we share that with you to make what can sometimes be a very difficult and overwhelming process a little bit easier to manage. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I know it kind of ran a little bit long, but we hope that you learned something and the resources that we have shared will always be available to you. You can always reach out to us. So we hope that you enjoyed it and thank you so much for being here. We will see you all back here.